I dare ya. I double dog dare ya. Hi friends, Tracy here from the Sewing Channel. Welcome back, and if you're new here, I dare ya. What's this all about? I want you to try to challenge yourself creatively, and this is the perfect project to do that. You can follow my guideline or not. This creative challenge is sure to get your creative juices flowing. If you're stopped up, that is. Now, this is all in fun. Now, if you want the world to see your creative challenge project, you can post it on your Instagram with the hashtag #TheSewingChannel. Enough talking already. Let the challenge begin. Today, I based my creative challenge on this 12-inch hoop. If you don't have an embroidery hoop just hanging around, go ahead and make a wall hanging. That's perfectly okay. I pulled a bunch of fabrics that I thought would go together out of my never-ending scrap bin. Next, I traced my hoop onto some leftover batting that I had from another project. And then I actually traced another circle around that, about 1.5 inches or so. And then I cut that out. And then, of course, you need a backing for this, so I cut out the same size in the backing and I gave it a good press. And then once that's all done, then I just set that aside until I was done with the top. On to the creative process. This is my favorite part. I love this fabric right here. And since it was such a big chunk, I just cut it in half because it had so many colors that I was going to be able to work with. The first thing I do is audition a couple colors together that work. And I sew them together, finger press open, and then give it a good hot press. Then I'll set that piece aside and grab 2 other pieces that I think might look great together. And then I'll finger press that open and press it and then set that one aside. And so on and so forth. And you see there, I like the purple in between those 2 fabrics, and that's what I did there. To keep this creative project nice and flat, I make sure to open my seams wherever I can, and I press open after I add each piece of new fabric into the project, and that just keeps things nice and neat. You can see here as I'm cutting each piece that I have joined together, I'm auditioning it on all of the pieces that are on my map because I never know what's going to spark something inside of me to want to actually attach it to that piece. So that's why I do that. And sometimes I get stumped and I'm like, I just don't like it, or oh my word, I love it. So it just all depends. I really do think that we all have that type of creative instinct within our brain. I mean, I think we all do. I don't know. Is it just me? I mean, you know what looks good to you, right? And I know what looks good to me. That's why our projects look all different. And that's why I love projects like this, because they're not cookie cutter. All of your fabric choices and all of the spots where you decided to trim the fabric off of and where you decided to attach the fabrics together, they all come out of your creative process. It is sort of freeing and relaxing, and maybe that's why they say that quilting and craft making is such good therapy for people. And I tend to agree with that. So you can see here that my pieces or chunks of the project are getting bigger, and I'm able to really see what each piece is going to look like when I audition them next to each other. And don't feel bad if you have to go back into your scrap bin and find even more scraps, because that's what I did with this project. The blue and the orange flowers I did go back in and get. I just felt like it needed a few more interesting things in it. Here I pull out my hoop and lay it over top of my project just to see about how much more I need to add around the edges of this project so that it'll all fit in the hoop nicely. I turn things around and add pieces and do different things to try and see where I need to add more. And you can see there on the one side I need a little bit more. So I do end up incorporating a couple more pieces along the outer edges to help me get all of the fabric into the hoop in the end. It might only be a tiny portion that you'll see in the actual end result, but that's what I did. Once I felt like everything was attached and it was going to cover, then I cut the tips around the edges off just because. And then I put my quilt sandwich together and I pin based. And next we are going to free motion quilt, one of my ultimate favorite things to do. If you're new to free motion quilting, this is the perfect project for you. You can totally practice all of those designs that you see other people on YouTube making. You can literally try anything you want on this project. You can choose to do an all-over design in the same design, or you can do what I did, and that is just pick certain pieces of the fabric and just make designs within those pieces. And sometimes, I was just using the line of the fabrics coming together as a leaf or a feather coming out of the seam. I know a lot of people are intimidated by free motion quilting, but honestly, the only way to know how to do it and to do it well, and trust me, nobody's arrived, but you can get by, and you just have to practice. And I love projects like this because I'm able to just outline things like this, whatever that thing is, that flying thing. I don't even know what it is, but it's cute. I guess my point is that the more you practice, the more you will master each design that you would like to master. Like, I never thought I could do a feather, ever. I mean, honestly, I did not think it was possible. But here I am today making feathers. It's crazy to me. And they look pretty decent. But trust me when I tell you, they didn't always look decent. They looked peculiar, if anything. But that's why I tell you, practice, practice, practice makes perfect. And this is one of those projects where you can practice. Now on to assemble our embroidery hoop on our beautiful creative project. Make sure if you're going to use the metal hardware on there as the actual hook like I am, that it's facing in the direction that you want to be able to see it when it's hanging on the wall. Once it's on there nice and snug, be sure to tighten up the hardware. And then with some very sharp scissors, go ahead and just trim around the entire back area so that that fabric and batting is flush with the wood frame on the embroidery hoop. And hey, why not? Put a really cute bow on the top of that. Take a look at your screen right now. I have hand-picked ahead of time some videos that I think that you'll enjoy if you enjoyed my Quilty Creative Challenge today. Go ahead and click on one of those videos, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Until next time on the Sewing Channel, take care.